Yeah. What's up? Welcome, bitches. As always, I'm your host. I'm Will Bryant. I don't know if you guys noticed, if you guys are watching. I popped the bottle on that beer, and then I wanted to throw it like a G on like the desk or the floor, and instead it fell in my own lap. That was pretty stupid. That's like, you guys see recently, Tito Ortiz was in the ring or in the octagon or some cage. And he gave some, I don't know. He talked on the mic, gave some promo, and then he tried to be all cool and just throw the mic up in the air to let it hit the floor. And the idiot threw it in the air and hit himself in the face with the mic. I basically just had a little Tito Ortiz moment right there. I threw this bottle cap into my own lap like a moron. I got to wake up a little bit, you know, and so instead of doing espresso shots like I do at work, I'm going to do shots of tequila because it's just one of those days. It's actually not a bad day. I'm doing just fine. Off from work, that's good. Thank you, James. Cheers. Been a little bit since I've taken a shot. I know you guys might not notice this because of what I'm doing right now, drinking tequila and beer. But I've actually toned back my drinking just a tad, just a little. Yeah. Anyways, before I continue, let me just get the boring stuff out of the way. Guys, do me a favor. Be sure that you follow me on all platforms. Like and subscribe and follow wherever you can. It's 3 words at I'm Will Bryant. It's the same thing on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, Spotify, X, Threads, OnlyFans, all of it. That's 3 words. I'm Will Bryant, Bryant, like Kobe. And I like doing that. I miss doing that sometimes. Today, as I record this, is June 1st. I guess maybe the month that summer will begin, and today being a nice day inspired me to wear this douchey ass shirt. I know it's douchey. I see it. I don't care. I'm wearing it. For those of you listening and not watching, think of a color. Doesn't matter which one, you got it right. You guessed correctly. Yep. Now, think of an animal. Correct again. Doesn't matter which one, you're right. That's those colors and those animal prints that's essentially what I have on my shirt. I think I see some, orange leopard-looking stuff. I see black and white zebra-looking things. You could say the green is some reptilian skin. Blue feathers of a luxurious peacock. I mean, could a shirt cry for more attention than this one? I don't know. I've said it looks like a display wall of paint exploded on me. That's what I'm wearing right now. It's a summery shirt, I feel, so I put it on. And yeah, I know what it looks like. But June 1st for me is it's not so much about summer. June 1st for me is suddenly a little bit of a date that's, I guess it's going to be important to me, hopefully in a good way for a while. Today marks 1 year since I've been at the Comedy Cellar. It was a year ago today that I went, I answered a Craigslist ad and went to a job interview at the Olive Tree Cafe, which is right above the original location at McDougal Street. And I interviewed for the bartender position, and I'm telling you, the interview lasted maybe 5 minutes, and I'm the type of narcissistic, egotistical douchebag that pretty much every time I ever walk out of a job interview, I'm like, nailed it. They love me. They might make me manager. They're gonna offer me part ownership. Fuck bartender. Part owner. They want to introduce me to their daughter. They want me in their family. And of course, I never get hired. For this one, for the Cellar interview, I interviewed with the GM, and it was about 5 minutes, and I walked out, and I immediately texted my girlfriend, and I was like, well, I blew that one. And a year later, I'm still there, dude. Cheers to me. Actually, I think that's worth another shot. Fuck it. This is your fault, James. It's funny. He's one of my biggest fans. He listens to pretty much every episode. I'm pretty sure he's listened to every episode. And if not, he's like, no, I think he has. So he knows about my my weight gain, and the last time I saw him, it was I showed up for a tailgate for a NYCFC soccer game. I didn't go to the game, but I showed up for the tailgate, and one of the first things he says to me, he just puts his arm around me. He goes, "You know what, Billy? I'm getting fat too. It's okay." Cheers to you. And cheers to me making a year. I realized that I'm not the guy that has worked at a place for years on end, like ever in my life. I've been trying to think of places that I've had the longest terms of employment, and I mean, man, going back to like my first job ever was as I told you guys in the episode, I worked at a drag queen restaurant. That's the name of the episode. That my mom got me a job at her hair salon, and that's how I met the hairstylist that ended up hooking me up with the drag queen gig. And if you are confused by that, then go back to my previous episodes and listen to I worked at a drag queen restaurant, and you'll learn all about it. How's that for a tease? Anyways, my mom got me that job at that hair salon. That job lasted 3 days. 3 days. Because on day 2, I met that other hairstylist, and on day 3, he took me during my lunch break to interview with his boyfriend, and I got a job at a drag queen restaurant, and I quit that not hairstylist job, but the hair salon job day of. I think I was like 17 at the time. So first job right off the bat, bang, 3 months. No, 3 days, 3 months. That job at Lips, the drag queen restaurant, lasted about the summer. So that's 3 months. So now 2 pretty short-term jobs. After that, I think I was at Old Navy for a summer the following year. I think Gap. I worked at Gap also, the flagship store at 53rd and Lex? 54th and Lex. No, 54th and 5th. That's what it is. I think, pretty sure. Anyways, I was there for a couple of months, maybe half a year. Maybe 6 months. And I actually, no lie, I legitimately got recruited, like a secret recruitment. So I was working at Gap, and I remember working in the denim section often. I was always in the denim section, folding jeans. Oh, that's why when I go to retail stores and I'm shopping for jeans, I am the nicest shopper there. I'm folding and folding and folding. I don't even work there, and I'm folding jeans that I see that are unfolded, you know? Because I get it. Every time that we used to see a customer go through jeans, we'd be like, I got that for you. What size do you need? And they'll always be like, no, don't worry about it. I got it. And then they just fucking toss fucking jeans to the left and to the right. Like a golden retriever digging a hole to bury his goddamn bone. They're like, no, I don't want to. The guest thinks he's doing us a favor. Hey, I don't want to make you look for my jeans. So let me just throw 17 of them to the side. Decide I don't want anything at all. And then I'll walk away and you can fold all of these 17 pieces of crap that I've just tossed around and disheveled for you. How about that? You fucking idiot. That's why I'm the best retail shopper. What? If tipping retail shoppers was normal, I would do it like I do it at bars. Or like I tip people at bars. I've also always said, like, when I get a little bit more money, when I start making that cha-ching, I would be the type that would tip retail workers if they were, to help me out. Why? I'll tell you why. Quick little sidebar story. When I used to work at Paragon Sports, we're talking about my jobs anyways, right? So whatever. Paragon Sports was a long one. I was there for maybe 2 to 3 years. But sidebar about working there at Paragon Sports. When I was working retail, which was also one of the only retail job I ever worked at was commission based also. Not fully. We had a base pay, which was pretty standard. And then we were like incentivized more with I just had a brain fart. With commission with our sales for whatever we did per week, basically. I worked in a section where the commissions weren't that lucrative. I was selling jerseys and t-shirts. I would get like a quarter or 50 cents for something. If I sold like a $100 glove, it might be $1 that I get. I remember being happy selling ice skates that were like $800, $850, because that meant I usually got like a $10 to $15 commission on it. That'd be a good one. Anyways, coolest story I had from Paragon. On 2 separate occasions, Shane McMahon walks in to Paragon Sports, and he is as cool in real life as he comes off on screen. I remember seeing him walk in, and I'm just a salesman in the team sports section, and he comes in and he's like, hey, I need some help buying baseball stuff for my son. He plays in, I think he was in high school at the time. And I was like, all right, cool. I know everything about every piece of equipment here. Let's go through it. And he got right to the point. The way that he shopped for baseball gear for his son, it showed me, like, it made sense that he was a successful person, and that listen, I know Vince has been going through a bunch of shit lately, and he has definitely made some mistakes, but I think he is a shrewdly wise businessman, at least. Not the most decent one, but business sense, right? So Shane must have learned business sense from Vince. Shane probably learned also a lot of what not to do in life in general from his dad, but that's besides the point. What I'm trying to say is that Shane McMahon shopping, very no wasted time. He knows what he wants, he knows what he needs, and he's just not there to waste time. So he comes in, and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? How can I help you? By the way, I don't go, yo, Shane McMahon, what's up, big fan, blah, blah. No. I treat him like anybody else, I just felt like that was the way to go about it, and just, I didn't want to make him feel like he was dealing with a fan, especially if you're there. I didn't know when I went up to him to help him out, but especially if you're there buying stuff for your family, for your son. You know, you don't really want to be your TV persona. You're your dad right now, basically, right? So he just comes in, mad chill. By the way, big dude, probably like 6'4", 6'2", 6'4", and maybe 250. Big dude. I remember him breathing, and I was like, I will never breathe like that. You know, like my body will never need that much oxygen because it will never have that many muscles to oxygenate ever. He was breathing like I suddenly had this thought, like, is that how men breathe? Like I've been breathing wrong. I breathe like a child, apparently. I'm like, unless I'm snoring, then I'm like, huh? No, I'm awake. I'm watching. This dude was next to me just chilling like this. I'm like, whoa. And it looked like he needed all of that oxygen. Like, his biceps were just pulsating. And Shane McMahon, in wrestling terms, not exactly considered a big, strong dude. He's just Vince's son that puts on crazy matches like whenever he decides to wrestle. And has no fear, by the way, because he jumps off of the tallest things ever. But in person, you're like, oh, you're an American sumo wrestler. Is that a thing? Like, you ever met somebody that has so much like just mass and muscles? Not like fucking ripped abs, just like lineman muscles, you know, like just big dude that his arms can't go like normally straight down. That was him. Anyways, his shopping style is like it's reminiscent of a savvy businessman. No wasted time, as I was saying, because he just goes right in and he goes, all right, my son's doing baseball. He's this old. Just show me, you know, the best of everything he needs. Essentially, top of the line, whatever he needs. So I just asked a couple of questions. How old is he? Height? Bang. Because if I'm getting him a bat, I want to roughly know how long the bat should be, what position he plays, so I could know. I know what size glove to suggest. Not bat. Well, I gave him just top line batting gloves too, but the mitt essentially. You know, if you play first, catcher, second, short, outfield, third, those are all different size gloves. You know, ideally. So I got him top line everything, right? And then he has 3 boys, and he says, you know what? I might as well just get the other 2 boys baseball gear too. They're not on a team, but when they see their oldest brother start playing, they're going to want to like play too. So let's just get all of them gloves and bats and all that shit. And then he goes, you know what? Also, they're going to want me to play with him. Like he had this epiphany, like, yeah, I should play catch with my sons, you know, like I don't have a baseball glove. Give me a glove. So now he's like, all right, I don't need top of the line glove, but he's like, what are top of the line gloves? And I show him like $500 gloves, $350 gloves. And if you're saying, oh, gloves cost that much. Yeah, there was a Mizuno Pro for like $500 that had beautiful leather, so soft. It was really nice. I actually really love that glove. You know, the Wilson A2Ks are about $350. They were at least about 10 years ago. Maybe they're $450 now. I don't know. A2000s were about 200 level, 250, I would say. You had the Rawlings gloves that God, there was a Rawlings. What was it called? The Red Bull or the Bull or whatever. They had a $450 glove, but it was so heavy there wasn't a single MLB B player that used it. But anyways, so I showed him all the top line gloves, and I was like, yeah, I mean, there are baseball players that don't even use this, and I showed him, that most baseball players use like a $300 to $200 glove, and he appreciated that I wasn't just trying to sell him stuff he didn't need. So he bought like a mid-level, I think it was like $150 something. Like, he didn't go crazy. He wasn't like, you know what, I want to play catch with my sons with a fucking $500 glove. No, I think he just spent like $150, which is just good, decent leather that he probably used that same glove to play catch with all three of his sons till, I wouldn't be surprised if that's still the glove he has. And so he has now 4 gloves for his son. They're all kind of stiff. And he's like, oh, like, how can I break these in? And I'm like, we can break gloves in here for you. We can steam them up. I'll beat them up in the back, whatever. He's like, perfect, beautiful. Do me a favor. Can you break those in, by today, whatever? And I'll come back to pick them up. And I was like, absolutely, I remember like not going out to lunch that day. And I was like, I'm going to break in Shane McMahon's gloves for his entire family, essentially, And I had 2-3 huge things full of baseball gear for him and his family, or all his boys essentially. And he's like, "Can you help me to the cash register essentially to cash out or whatever, and I'll have it all delivered to my place." And I was like, "Yep, absolutely." And I remember going with him to the register. And the register was trying to get like his information, like for mailing lists and shit. And they were like, "Can I have your name?" And he was like, I'd rather not. And I wanted to be like, motherfucker, this dude is famous. Leave him alone. But I didn't want, like I said, I acted like I didn't know him. So, while we were at the register, I remember him slipping me a $50 bill, and he just thanked me for the help. And no one had ever even tipped me a single dollar doing retail ever before. So he was one of the chillest, easiest, laid back, low maintenance customers I've ever had in my life. Bought all. Anything I said, he just trusted me. He was like, "Yep, let's go for it. Cool, thank you, whatever." And to the point when we got to the register, he actually like said like, "Hey, you know what? Like, cause we had a batting cage with like a tee-ball, like a tee to set up like for kids to practice using the bats that they might want to buy or whatever." And so Shane just bought his son like a, I don't know, $400 bat at that point, literally top of the line. I think it was the Easton Mako at the time. Or was it? No, reflexes weren't the top line. I think it was Easton Mako. And when he came back to pick up all the gloves, he brought his son so that he could like just take some swings in the batting cage. And I remember just setting him up in the batting cage, and I remember just thinking like, wow, this is like mad cool. Like this guy enjoyed my service enough to be like, I'm bringing my son back to finish off my interaction with you, So Shane McMahon, cool dude. All that, wow, long ass sidebar just because I was talking about my past jobs. I love when I start recording and I'm like, God damn, what am I going to talk about? And then I fucking start like ding, 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 ding. And then I fucking just go off on tangents, and it's 24 minutes in and I haven't even gotten to like my second bullet point of this bullshit outline that I made for this episode. Whatever. This all started because I was talking about the fact that I don't keep jobs very long. That Paragon job, I was in retail for about a year and a half, moved up to the quote unquote offices, which are just 3 floors above the store. And I was there for just about another year till they kicked me to the curb. Before that, I was talking about working at Gap and how I wasn't there very long, and I actually got recruited. I went on a tangent about denim jeans and how I would tip, and that's how we got to that Shane McMahon story. See how fucking good I am at tying all these sidebars together? Gap. The reason I left Gap, I didn't get fired from Gap. I left Gap because I did such an exemplary job in my customer service that after I helped these. I remember I helped these two ladies out. I remember one was a little bit younger than the other. One was maybe in their late 20s, early 30s at the time. The other one was like early 20s. And once I was done with their, helping them or whatever, they came back around a couple of minutes later, maybe 10 minutes later, and started talking to me. And turns out they work for Coach. And they were going around to some busy retail stores in some higher end areas to see if they could essentially poach whoever impressed them most. So I was I Gap folding gene after gene after gene after gene, and then at some point somebody comes up to me and is like, "Hey, would you like to work at a tiny little boutique in Soho, where you don't really have to fold anything ever?" And I was like, "Take me now, let's go." Interview was like the next day, and then I worked at Coach in Soho for maybe a year. So again, I don't keep jobs very long, whether I get fired or whether those jobs early on, I was in school, like I was in college, couldn't really work besides those summer gigs, essentially. I didn't get fired from Old Navy. I just left to go back to go back to Stony Brook. Gap, I left for Coach. Coach, what happened at Coach? I didn't get fired from Coach. Wow, I don't remember why I left Coach. Did I get fired? I think I just stopped getting scheduled. Well, I mean, that's essentially getting fired. Dude, I don't remember if I quit or if I left. And I'm trying to remember the order of things. After Coach might have been Paragon, I think. So, I feel like I was at a point in Coach where it's only going to be part-time and I was never going to even get close to like hours to pay bills on a regular basis. But man, I don't really remember my end of Coach. Either way, it wasn't more than a year. Paragon, about 2 years. And that was like the longest at the time. It still might be the longest. No, it's not. It's not the longest ever. After that, God, that insurance job that I had for like 3 months. That's my worst job ever, by the way. At some point in my future, when people are going to start interviewing me, someone's going to ask me the standard question. Hey, what's the worst job you ever had? And my answer would be, I used to sell life insurance to low-income families. I had no soul for about 3 months. And here's the thing. It took like 3 months just to get the job because you have to take a course and then pass a New York State test to be licensed to sell this insurance. So it was like 6 months out of my life. God, I hated that job. I quit that job. I just stopped showing up. It's a job that was solely based on commission. So it's not like that was the first time I had a boss like just straight up just yell at me. And I remember like saying like, "Oh, is this how it is around here?" Like, no, I'm good. No. I was like, "You could tell me whatever you want. You gonna yell at me?" No. And I walked out of this guy's office. It's like, you're not even paying me unless I make money on my own anyway. So like, you're not yelling at me. Fuck you. You can fire me if you want, but don't yell at me. It's funny because I get yelled at now, but I take it. Left that insurance job. And then that's when my career path took a really big change, and I got into the nightlife industry. I found a listing on Craigslist. I swear it said it called itself a bartending apprenticeship, and I had never seen anything worded that way on Craigslist ever before. It felt a little stuck up, a little pretentious, and once I would come to interview, meet, come to know, and even love my GM, I would absolutely call him pretentious. I've told him that to his face, and he's smiled because he knows. But that was the Forest Hill Station House, and Bobby Burns gave me my first shot at a bar ever. He preferred people with no prior. If you wanted to be a bar back, if you wanted a step into the industry, he preferred no prior experience, because he was one of those people that believed that it was harder to retrain someone out of bad habits as opposed to just them learning the good habits immediately from the start. So I was at the Forest Hill Station House for about 2 years. And although the job title was, or the job description in that Craigslist ad was bartender apprenticeship, it felt at one point where it just was not going to happen for me, because I was bar backing for a while, and every now and then I would plug in as host, but mostly bar backing, and then food running as well. So I was either behind the bar or in the kitchen, which was great fucking just learning opportunities for me, dude. I was to this day, I don't think I've ever learned more at any job ever than I did at the Forest Hill Station House. And man, when I watch what might be my favorite current show right now, The Bear, I just go back and think of all my times at the Station House and The Historian, which I'll get to in just a second. But yeah, that place was a busy place. It was a great. It's still available. It's still there. Forest Hills, Queens. Please visit the Forest Hill Station House. They've got some of the best cocktails in all of Queens and all of New York. Great food. Cheese. Yeah. Just love that place and love the people. Love the owner. Steve is awesome. That's the first time I worked somewhere where I just fucking loved like everybody, dude. Like maybe one or two people annoyed me. You know what's funny? One of the earliest people that annoyed the shit out of me, I is now like I love her to death now, and we still talk like to this day. Love you, Asma. But yeah, she was annoying back then. That job, I was able to bar back and food run for a while. And then eventually, maybe 6 months in, I got promoted to server. Still covered bar back maybe once a week, but like 4 server shifts a week. And then I was just like plateaued at server for a while. And it looked like I was on the cusp of being one of the next people called up to get a shot at bartending. And like 3 bartenders left at the same time. It wasn't like a coup or anything. They just all got opportunities to just grow. And they all took them. And instead of hiring or promoting bartenders from within, they hired 3 outside bartenders. So I just stayed there as server looking at these 3 new people. And by the way, great bartenders too. And 2 of them I was friends with for years. And if I see them now, I would love to have a drink with them now. great guys. But I remember just thinking like, wow, that was my supposed to be my shot, and I didn't get it. I remember talking to the guy that hired me, Bobby, and I was like, hey, I feel overlooked. I thought it was a perfect opportunity to maybe give me a shot. I've been here for now over a year. I've hosted, bar backed, food ran, served. I know this place in and out. I know our customers. I know our clientele. Like, I'm not sure why I didn't get the shot. And I remember he told me, well, the whole reason that I ever got a job at a bar was because I wanted to go back to school. So if I was going to go to school during the day, I needed a job that was more during the evening. So I figured I should start working at a bar. And that's the time that I got my job at the Forest Hill Station House, the time that I first got into the industry. It was also when I first went back to school for music production and audio engineering. So it was a huge shift in my life, really. It was the moment in my life where I really started to turn towards what I am now today, which is a pathetic loser and failure. So, you know, when I told him like, oh, I thought this was my opportunity, he's like, oh, I didn't want think about promoting you because you're in school. And I'm like, what? What does that have to do with being promoted to bartender? He's like, well, if you're in school, then your future, you don't see a future in bartending or the restaurant industry. Like, you have outside aspirations. And I'm like, Bobby, you have a degree in poetry and you're my GM denying me a bartending job because I'm going to school for music production. Like, pot kettle black, bro. Come on. You can't be my boss with a degree in poetry and tell me that I can't be a bartender because I'm pursuing music production. I looked at him and well, after telling him, dude, you have a degree in poetry, I also said, the exact person you should want to make a bartender is an idiot like me that thinks that he has some type of future in the fucking music industry at age 30. You know who you shouldn't make a bartender? The fucking 21-year-old dude that's majoring in finance. That guy is never going to work in a fucking restaurant again. That makes sense. The moron like me that has hopes and dreams, that's who you want to hire as a bartender. That's the motherfucker that's going to stick around for years on end. I was 30 back then. I'm 36 now. You want to know what I'm doing? Oh, shit! I'm bartending. You know what I'm not doing? Holy fuck, music. I'm not a musician. I don't pay bills by DJing. I haven't produced any hits. You know what I have done? I've shaken a lot of drinks. Hey, you know what my GM wasn't doing? Writing poems. How's that poetry fucking major going? Are you writing poems over here? Huh? Are you fucking writing the great American poem over here? Fucking Ginsberg? Are you howling at the moon over there? Or are you hiring barbacks and servers? Okay, cool. Let me shake a cocktail and get out of my way. So what happened was, I guess I proved my case. Even though I was a condescending little cunt in the process, I actually remember him smirking a little bit. He was tough. And I was about to learn how tough he could be because he was way harder on bartenders than anyone else in the establishment. But he smirked and he was like, all right, you think you want to bartend? And I was like, yeah, I think I'm ready to do it. And he gave me 3 books, 3 physical books. He told me to read them cover to cover and come back in a week so that I can talk to him about them, all 3. And I said, done. And he's like, and if after that, I think you're taking this seriously, then I'm willing to give you a shot if you're willing to work at our sister bar. And at the time, the Forest Hill Station House had a sister bar in Astoria called the Astorian. And I remember business at the Astorian was always less than. It wasn't as busy as the Forest Hill Station House. Forest Hill Station House was just a well-oiled machine that was just churning in guests 7 days a week. The Astorian was trying to build that clientele up, So if I wanted to bartend, that's how it was going to happen. I had to leave all my friends at the Forest Hill Station House and go to the Astorian, where I didn't know anyone except, maybe a cook, a maintenance guy. And that's probably it. And I was like, yeah, fuck it. I'm down. That was one of the best decisions I ever made. One of the best decisions I ever made was applying to them in the first place. But, see, there was a risk that I was going to make less money as a bartender in the Astorian than I was making currently as a server at the Forest Hill Station House. But I was like, I don't want to serve. I want to bartend. And I went over there to learn how to bartend at the Astorian. I had some of the best teachers I could ever have patiently teaching me how to bartend. And luckily, that year was when that bar started hitting. And I remember the owner used to be like, I don't know if we're going to make it, to suddenly his conversations were like, wow, we're really turning a corner here, man. And I was bartending there 5 nights a week, closing 5 nights a week. I became the bartender that the regulars saw, most of all, or at least one of them. And then 2 more servers from the Forest Hill Station House came over to the Astorian, and I actually helped train the 2 of them to bartend, even though I had only been doing it for a month. And the 3 of us, essentially, me, Asma, and Gershel, we essentially learned how to bartend together one summer at the Astorian, and somehow we were left in charge of that place. And it was some of the most fun I've ever had at work, ever. I met a lot of awesome people, learned a lot about bartending. And the only reason why that ended, and I was at the Astorian as a bartender for about a year, if we're going down this list of how long I can keep a job for. After about 2 years maybe a year and a half, 2 years at the Forest Hill Station House doing bar backing, food running, hosting, and serving, I bartended at the Astorian for about a year, and the only reason that ever ended was the goddamn pandemic. I actually was the last person that ever worked at that bar. I closed it down. I think it was maybe a Saturday that I closed it down. I don't know. It was I think a day or 2 before St. Patrick's Day. And I remember my boss telling me, the owner, he was telling me, besides regular close down duties, this time we're going to take down a bunch of bottles. I need you to barricade doors. And I was like, man, this does not sound good. And that bar, I told you, it wasn't doing good at first. And then we started turning the corner that year, but it wasn't enough in time. And had we been able to just stay open and keep working, we would have been great. I might still be at that bar to this day, if the pandemic didn't happen. But the pandemic did happen. And I worked the final shift ever at the Historian. And it never opened up again. I think it's a taco joint now. So, to the jobs that set me on the path that I'm on now, which is a path that I very much love and enjoy. Cheers to them as I finish this bottle of Cascanes. Thank you, James. Then, shit. No work for fucking, what, 2 years? Pandemic, man. After the pandemic... Oh, wait. Yeah, after the pandemic, man, I remember I got I got hired at this spot to like maybe a 10-minute walk from where I live right here in Bushwick. And I nailed the interview. And after they hired me, that's when they told me that they don't have a liquor license and that they only have like a wine. They only have like the ability to sell wine and beer, but they still do cocktails and shots and all that shit, but it's all wine based. And I'm like, oh. And I just came from working, before the pandemic, I was a bartender that was working at a pretty reputable, we had a pretty reputable cocktail program. It wasn't bullshit. And I felt like a bar that didn't, by the way, advertise itself as a wine bar. So people would come in and maybe want some type of vodka, tequila, gin, or whatever, and we just didn't have it. I got to be like, no, this wine is just like it. I already felt a little shitty about it, but I hadn't worked in 2 years. A year and a half, 2 years, I don't know. So I was like, I can't just turn down this job. And it's walking distance from my crib, so fuck it. I took it. I remember, I think I interviewed on a Tuesday afternoon. And then that Tuesday night, I went to my boys Cisco and Alex at Global Goal Music, I should say. I went to their studio, and we did a live stream DJ set, or I did. And Cisco was interviewing me throughout my DJ set and whatnot. And we went, I don't know, I think I went for like about 2 hours or whatever. And we were drinking, man. We had some Heinekens that night. And I remember getting a text like mid-stream, mid-set. And it was from the guy that I interviewed with, the owner of the bar, asking me if I could come in on Wednesday for my first day. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'll be there. And then I even announced it during the live stream. I was DJing and I was like, yo, I just got hired. They want me in on Wednesday. Yeah. And like a bunch of people started commenting like, yeah, congratulations, Will. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, cool, man. Wednesday, my first day. Cool, whatever. I wake up the next day, and I'm like telling my girl, like, yeah, I got to train on Wednesday. So, it'll be cool. And she goes, Wednesday, like next week, or Wednesday, like today? And I'm like, oh, shit. I just assumed next week. Why? Because if he wanted me to train tomorrow, why wouldn't you say tomorrow? If tomorrow is Wednesday, are you going to tell someone, hey, let's hang out Wednesday or let's hang out tomorrow? Well, it turns out this goddamn bastard that owns the bar that I was supposed to work at, he will say the name of the day and not tomorrow. So I text him and I was like, hey, when you said Wednesday, I thought you meant next Wednesday, not today. I'm sorry. I was already late. By like an hour or two, maybe even 3. I don't know. And hungover. But I was like, I can be there in about 15 minutes if that's okay. And he goes, no, that's cool. Good luck essentially he said, nah, good luck in your future endeavors. And that's it. Cold-blooded. And then like the following week, I fell in the shower or going into the shower and I hurt my ribs and I couldn't apply to jobs for like another month. So think about that. I fucked up And a job that I was supposed to have walking distance from here, I blew that because I misinterpreted the text. And then instead of applying the jobs the very next, day or two, I got hurt and I couldn't work for like another month or two. Literally couldn't move. And then I started applying to jobs and I got this job that I kind of hated. And it was the first time I ever got a job at a bar that I really fucking didn't like. And it was you guys know, the Horny Ram. Because I started this podcast while I worked at the Horny Ram. And you guys went through a lot of my lows at the Horny Ram. But around this time last year, there were 2 episodes, 2 of my most popular episodes, by the way, that really defined where I was headed for like the next year. And those 2 episodes were I quit my job and my new job. And that brings us to where we are today. Because 1 year ago today, I interviewed at the Comedy Cellar, texted my girl, told her I blew the interview, and I've been there for 365 days. And it may... Listen, I've worked places where, like that Forest Hill Station House historian time of my life. Like right now, that's my favorite time in my professional career. The people I worked with, the people I worked for, and the people I met as customers there. That was such a good time. Oh, shit. Hold up. I completely forgot the huge thing in the middle. No, it wasn't the Horny Ram. The first thing I applied to after fucking falling on my way into the shower was the Diddy. This bar in Astoria, the same fucking hood that I just worked at right before the pandemic. And that... How could I gloss over that? God, I love the Diddy. That was, that's how I know I got really lucky in my bar jobs early on. Because Forest Hill Station House, and then transferring to the Historian, and then fucking up and not working at a wine bar, passing itself off as a regular bar, and ending up at the Diddy on Ditmars Boulevard in Astoria. With also one of the best crews I've ever worked with. Great bosses. I got fired from that job and I still love every single fucking person there. That's just the God's honest truth. That's the first time. Diddy was the first time I ever got fired from a job, and the person that fired me was like cried. Like, I cried and she cried. It was the first time that's ever happened to me. I've been fired before. I've quit before. I've never felt like that. The person that fired me had tears in her eyes and gave me a hug. I remember, just because it's like I think like an HR thing or whatever, or like just a legal thing. The head of security that staffs our security guards, or that did when I worked there, he was present for the firing, essentially. And I remember just looking at him like apologizing that he even had to like wake up early to be here for this. And he had this just sad look on his face too. He's like, nah, man, this just sucks, bro. Like, it was not a regular firing. It was like... It was like they were forced to execute someone that they loved, which is exactly what happened. And I remember, I didn't get escorted out. Like I remember walking to the cook, to the bar back, to my fellow bartenders and telling them, and I even like I walked up to there was a bunch of regulars there that day, and I even walked up to them, and I was extremely honest. I went up to all of them. I was like, I just got fired, and I remember getting fired, and I didn't leave the bar for about another hour later, just like saying goodbye to people, hugging people, you know, just trying to like feel positive or whatever. It was a rough day, but it was like 3 days before Christmas too. It was rough. And that's why I took that horny ram job in early January, because I was like, I fucked up, I got fired, so I got to just take anything now. I don't have the luxury of waiting. And I took that horny ram job, and I was there for 6 months. I knew I wasn't going to be there long term. That's the theme of this episode, the fact that I don't keep jobs for a long time. And I just kept looking for jobs on a bunch of different websites, but I was able to be picky because I was comfortable in this job, not happy, but comfortable. And I was like, well, I'm not going to apply to anything unless it's really interesting or cool. And the motherfucking Comedy Cellar came up. And easily, this is the coolest job I've ever had. It's not the most fun job. It's not the easiest job. It's not the most loving job. It's not the most cultivating job. Like I felt like I was, being helped to grow at other jobs like this. I'm not saying this isn't helping. I'm growing in different ways, but it's all kind of on my own. This is perhaps the most challenging job I've ever had. It's the most intense job, the most pressure-filled job that I've ever had. But definitely the coolest fucking job I ever had, man. I mean, Val says, my girlfriend says, ever since you've started working at the Comedy Cellar, you have much better stories than you ever used to have before. My stories at home, my pillow talk before would be like, someone got drunk and threw up at the bar. Now it's like, well, Kevin Hart dropped by. So Dave Chappelle said this. Oh, so Chris Rock talked about this. It's fun, man. 1 year at the Comedy Cellar. And what if I haven't proven anything, I've proven at least this 1 year. I'm right around like look. I have anxiety. I have this inability to not think about the worst case scenario all the time. So when I saw that this 1 year anniversary for me was coming, was impending, was I happy? Was I proud? No, not really. You know what I thought? I was like, well, this is about the time that you fuck it up and either have to quit or get fired. I've been trying to be on my best behavior even more because of this. I'm trying to get better. Not even like I'm fucking up and shit, but I'm just really paranoid right now. I feel like the main character, I feel like Devin Sawa in Final Destination. Yeah, I know his name. Because he's also Stan in the Eminem video. I know shit. Yes, I didn't throw the fucking bottle cap on myself like an idiot, like Tito Ortiz. Anyways. God. I want to be here at the Cellar for longer than just this year. I want to hit 2 years. Do I want to hit 3? Do I want to hit 4? Yes and no. Here's the thing. Here's why I say this. I only want to leave this job because I can finally never have to work in the industry again. Like, or at least not for the time being. And what I mean by that is, man, if I can turn anything that I do in my life outside of bartending into a prosperous venture, meaning if my comedy, my DJing, or my podcasting, or my social media can ever start paying bills, then I would love to be able to leave bartending only to dedicate more time to those other ventures and hope. And that's what I mean. I wouldn't be surprised at the moment that I'm able to dedicate my entire work week to just these avenues, that's when I really start skyrocketing in my success. But I got to pay bills, man. And I ain't making money doing anything I am passionate about. So for now, I'll just make money doing stuff that I kind of really like. I kind of really like bartending. And I kind of really like bartending at the Cellar. And I kind of really like that I made it a year. Hooray to me. I feel tired a little bit because I ran 3 miles today for the first time in over a year. And the reason I did that is because I'm pretty sure that I agreed to run a marathon with my cousin this October. And oh man, I'm a little terrified. So I gotta start running now, right? So fuck it. I'll talk more about running and shit some other episode, not now. I just wanted to mention that I'm trying to get back into shape a little bit so I could finally run that goddamn marathon that has eluded me my entire life. I have ran 25 miles in my life, and I would have ran 1.2 miles more if I just fucking remembered how long a marathon was. Fucking shit, god damn it. Either way, it's all good. It's all good. My girl was with me when my cousin Christian asked me. Yeah, we were at. Me and my girl visited my family for my cousin's baby. So like, God, I don't know, the second cousin. They're all cousins. But now my cousin's kids are having kids. The hell does that make them? I don't know. We visited them in Long Island for the christening, and then it was their other baby's birthday, and he just randomly was like, "Hey, Willie. Me and my buddy, we want to run this marathon in Rockaway in October. Are you down?" And I was like, "Oh, man, I don't know. I'm a little tipsy right now. So right now, yeah, kind of." And that's when we make all these decisions, isn't it? When we're a little tipsy. God, why do we do that? You ever make plans with someone when you're drunk and then you get sober and you're like, fuck! I don't want to go to brunch with you. Oh my God. Like when you're drunk, everything sounds great. You reply to the DMs you ignore that you've ignored for 5 days. I'm like, so my bad. I was sleeping when you sent this at 5:24 p.m. Just seeing it now, and in my head, I'm like, I'm drunk. So yeah, I'd love to get some drinks with you. And then tomorrow I wake up all sober and I'm like, fuck. I don't want to see this guy. I don't want to have drinks with you. Why do you even want to see me? You know what's weird? You ever on Instagram and you see in your stories, everyone that does stories, you got fucking circles around your profile picture, and then a green one pops up. Green means close friends. That means that that person is allowing you to see their story because they consider you a close friend. You ever see that pop up from someone that you don't give a fuck about? Like, dude, we haven't worked together in 5 years. And even when we work together, we only talk during our lunch breaks. And even then, I was on my Sidekick or Nextel. I was on my Nokia playing Snake. I wasn't talking to you. Now you're considering me a close friend? For what? So that I can see you came in third in Fortnite? I don't give a fuck. Even that time that your story was that you had a child, who cares? Not me. We don't talk. You're not in my life. That's embarrassing. That you put me in your close friends. We shouldn't even be friends on Instagram anymore. In fact, you reminded me that I should purge my friends once again. And you know what? You're not making the cut. Point being, guys, people, when you're doing those green ringed Instagram stories, that close friend shit, like there's like 12 of you that can at least pass for close to me. Everyone else, fuck off. And those 12 that are close to me, don't even fucking do it. Because you know what? I don't care. I don't really care. Essentially, what I'm saying, fuck your close friend stories. No. You tell me you're having a child? I'll find out. I don't need your green ring of death on the app I use to kill time while taking craps. See, close stories for Instagram. Hey, we're having a baby. But is that what it is? No. It's like close friends only. And then you click on it, and what is it? No, I had a fucking chai latte at Starbucks. What the fuck? That's the shit you put your close friends through? My God. I don't even know. I'm going to fucking make a list of my least close friends on Instagram. And I'm going to make stories just for them. And it's going to be the most irrelevant, putrid piece of crap, goddamn content I could think of. And if they're all going to be like, wow, Will considers me a close friend. And they're going to click on it. And it's going to be like, you know what? I don't even want to say it I don't want to say it on this podcast. You got to find out. At I'm Will Bryant, 3 words. None of my actual close friends will see this because why would I make a Instagram story for close friends? Imagine I made an Instagram story for close friends and I'm like, guys, there is a warrant out for my arrest right now. I need help. Send. Pick me up. And also stash these drugs. How did I start talking about this? I think because I said that I was going to run a marathon with my cousin. Oh, my God. Oh. Dude, I ran 3 miles today, and I feel like... I feel like I was just assaulted by a gang of people for a couple of hours. I don't know if it's that bad. I don't feel great. I gotta get back into it. Fuck it. Because you know what? Then I can stop Another reason I wore this shirt is because most of my other shirts don't fucking fit anymore. So if you want me to stop wearing douchey shirts, I gotta lose a cup size or two on the old jugs over here. So, you know what? That's all I got to say about that. Let me talk to you. Yeah, I did talk to you for over an hour. Man, I loved it. I had a bunch of things written down that I was going to talk about. You know how many I talked about? How many things that I talked about that I wrote down? Like 2. My intro was supposed to be about how I don't keep a job for a long time and that it's topical because it's my 1-year anniversary. And then I was going to go into what I wanted to talk about. And that's all I did was talk about my intro. Because I talk too much because I'm long-winded. And I guess that's good when you got to record a podcast on a weekly basis. So fuck it, I did it. And I'm not that mad about it. What I will be mad about is if y'all don't follow me on all platforms. Damn it. I need you to follow me. I need you to like. I need you to subscribe. I need you to comment. I need you to share. I need you to rate and I need you to review. I need you to do all these things because not all of you do it. You know what? I don't have 12 close friends because I don't even have 12 5-star ratings. I don't think. I might. I don't know. Whatever it is, I need more. You're not making my close friend Instagram stories until you rate, review, comment, share, follow, all that shit. And how do you do that? It's very easy. It's very simple because I keep it easy and simple for you. You know how I do that? Because you can follow me on all these platforms with the same name. It's 3 words. At I'm Will Bryant. You can follow me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, Spotify, X, Threads, OnlyFans, all those things. That's 3 words. I'm Will Bryant, Bryant, like Kobe. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I podcast for longer than I can keep a regular job for because I want to do this not for 1 year, not for 2 years, but for longer than that. Fingers crossed. God damn it. Love you guys. Peace.